Greetings, RC Model Geeks, and here we are in the shed again for part 6 of the DB Sport and Scale Pup electric build. So I hope you've all recovered from Christmas Day and all the grief that involves. Yeah, so today it's back to normal for me. My mother's ill and she's 89 and she's got this horrible bug now, so yeah, you can imagine the fun that involves. But I've managed to escape to the shed for a bit of modelling therapy. So today was going to be the kabane day, which are those bits up there, and getting the metal work on right for that. But I've wimped out for the moment because, you know, once you start getting bits up here, it starts to become awkward to handle the fuselage and stuff like that, and there's, you know, things that need to be done around here. So we're going to do a bit more in this central section. What I've done so far today is I've set this box up correctly. Oh, I've also put in the floor. I've put in the ply floor that's meant to go in there, and that help guides the motor box. All right, and as I said before, it slides in, and then you've got these guides here, one over there, and one here that guide it into that hole. But what there isn't is any guide on the bottom to get it to line up into the hole, apart from this ply floor. And there was probably about just over a mil gap of free play, basically. So, you know, this assembly can slide up and down about a mil, which is no good. So what I've done is I had some very thin ply, which is this stuff here, nice and thin, and so I've made a pad on the bottom here out of a few layers of that. So basically I just put enough layers in there to make that a snug fit when it all goes in again. So there is no free play whatsoever. I'll push that in. Yeah, it is rock solid. There's the ply floor here acts as the stop at the front as well, so it can only go in, you know, to there, and that's it. So that's all good. So I'm all happy with that. So the next thing is, I think I said before, I want to put a connector so that I don't have to faff around with a lead running from the ESC to the receiver every time I slide this box in and out, because the ESC is mounted in here as well. So what I'm going to do is, I have laying around from some foamy kit in the past this Y lead. Okay, and for extra security I'm going to double up the connection. So I'm going to use this Y lead in that configuration, basically. So that end's going to go into the receiver because it's doubled up, and then these connectors here are going to be mounted somewhere here, and then I'll have the opposites of those mounted in here, and they will basically plug together when I slide that in, and we've got redundancy because we're doubling up on the connectors. So that is the plan, and that is what I'm going to work on this afternoon. So I'm going to play around with that a bit and come back to you. Okay, I have been busy with a file, and I've filed a rectangular hole in the back there and mounted one servo connector. So I'm going to do the same again here, and we'll be done on that part. So yeah, back with you when I've filed another hole. The way I did it basically is drill 3 small holes next to each other and file it out. Quite easy. Right, I've filed 2 slots there now, so that's all good. So the next thing is to modify this wire. So what we're going to do is chop this connector off and shorten the cable back down to something like probably like that, and then we're going to add a second one of these as well, so we make it into like a Y lead. So yeah, I'll do that and come back to you. Okay, nipping along. So there are the 2 connectors mounted, if it'll focus. There, mounted into that bit of wood. I haven't glued them in yet, but I will be. So yeah, the next thing is to then come up with a mounting for these 2 connectors in the back there somewhere. So I'm going to get on with that. Okay, so we've nearly finished that assembly there. So the connectors are glued into the box down there. They're glued onto that plate there, and I thought I'd just show you before I glue on the top plate and sandwich the whole lot together like that. That's how it's going to go. So I'm going to glue that top plate in there and then come back to you and give you a demo of how it all goes in and out. Okay, it's done. It's completed. So we can just unplug it, donk, like that, or we can plug it in. It says I'm trying to do this one-handed, so it doesn't work very well, but yeah, it does plug straight in. So anyways, push it, there you go, that's in. Yeah, so that works quite nicely. Yeah, got a bit of redundancy there with the 2 connectors. Still fits perfectly at the front, and of course there's the underneath. Yeah, that is a winner. That's going to save a lot of grief when you come to swapping batteries. No wires to get tangled up or anything like that. So yes, that's good. So next thing is I'm going to look at the cabanes, and I'll probably get on with that in a minute, which is that lot there again. So yeah, I'll see how far I get before I give up for the day. Right, it's getting quite late, so I'm pretty much near calling it a day. What have I done? Yeah, I've started to look at the cabanes, and there's my efforts so far. The original instructions, basically, the way they want you to secure the cabane struts is pretty much by wrapping masking tape around it and then gluing the whole thing in, which doesn't appeal to me really. So what I've done is I've made a mount up here out of a couple of pieces of ply that this piece of cabane wire is going to slot into. It'll be glued into that, and there'll be another bit of wood on top of that holding it in. That's going to be really secure and nice and strong. And then for the side mounting, which is there, I've got some really thin light ply. It's like 64th, I think, and if you use it in the right way, it's as solid as steel. It's completely rigid, that, and it's very thin. So I've put 2 pieces of that down there to make a groove that the this vertical kabane here is going to glue into. So that will be nice and strong as well. But it's all just sort of jigged together at the moment. I've done one side here, and I'm just using a piece of solder actually wrapped around it just to jig it together. Don't know if you can see that. Put my hand there, see if it will focus on it. Probably won't. No, it wants to focus on everything else, but there we go. Yeah, and that's just to give us a rough idea of how it's going to rig together, and the same at the front there as well. Yeah, so I'm going to call it a day, because otherwise I'll end up rushing this and I want to get it right. And I'll start afresh on sorting the cabanes out tomorrow. But yeah, we've got the basics of it on how that's going to go together, which is good. So like, comment and subscribe. If you want to email us, here it is. I haven't looked at my emails yet since before Christmas, but if you want to email me, feel free. I do read the comments even if I'm not replying to them as well. So yeah, see you all tomorrow for part 7. Yeah, part 7, blimey. Okay, see you all tomorrow. Bye.